All right, today I'd like to go over installing and uninstalling packages, applications on Ubuntu 12.04 long-term support. I'm going to go over a little bit about the sudo command, the dpackage command, aptcache and some parameters, and aptget and some of its parameters. So first of all, I need to run the terminal, which I have here. And a little bit about the sudo command. If you want to run a command as the root user, you need to use sudo. Some commands, such as aptget install, require you to run as root. So I'm just going to assume all commands require root. So the first one to look at here is to see what is installed on the operating system. I'm going to look at the dpackage command, which is the Debian package manager, which lists all the installed applications. If I use the dash list parameter, and then I pipe to more, increase the size of this. This pipe is above the enter key. It's a shift backslash. More is another program, so I'm going to take the output of this command and pipe it into this command, which is more, which is a paging application. I have to verify myself, authenticate myself to the system, and now you see that more is allowing me to page. It would have scrolled, it would continue to scroll until it hit the end. First thing to notice is these three columns over here, which are described by these three statements up here. The first column is the desired state of an application. The second column down here is the actual state of the application. And the third column right there is the error state. This first one says the desired state is that it be installed. The second one here is the actual state, which is installed, and there's no errors, so that's blank. Then we have the name of the application over here, its version, and a short description. That's a little bit about the dpackage command. It's used here because the apt commands work on the cache. They don't work on the actual installed files. So I've decided to install a little application called Zivot, Z-I-V-O-T. It's just a little game. I'm just going to install it and then uninstall it. First, I want to see if it is installed. So I will check my output from dpackage, and I can use -L just as well as I can use --list. And I'm going to pipe into the search command, which is called grep. I'm going to ignore the case of the command or the search term that follows, and that's the search term, the name of my program that I want to install. Since I got no output, that means it's not installed. So then I want to find out if it's in the repository for Ubuntu. And so I will use my aptcache search command. And yes, it is in a repository, so I can go ahead and install that. I could also see if it is, all of the command, or excuse me, all of the applications in the application cache using the sudo aptcache package names command that lists all of the packages in the Ubuntu cache. And I'm going to pipe that into more so I can just see the first list. It's not alphabetized. It's not as helpful as it could be. But I know that Zivit is in there, so I want to see what the system knows about Zivit, about dependencies on other programs and such. So I'm going to use show package, and then I'm going to specify Zivit. And you see that there's not much to it, that it tells you what versions there are, the description language, and such. And then reverse depends are games that depend on it. And then information about what Zivit depends on being installed. You notice that it depends on this libc6 and libg Fortran 3. So that's kind of technical information about it. If I want to know a more user-friendly description of it, then I would look up show. I'd do aptcache show Zivit. And you notice with aptcache, I can get away with not using sudo because it's just querying the cache. It's not doing anything to the operating system. So there's a little bit more information. It's more user-friendly. It tells you who maintains it. It's under games. It is under, then here's a little description of it. It tells you it's a game of life and it's written in Fortran. And so that's a bit more user-friendly information for it. So now that I know a little bit more about it, I'm going to go ahead and try to install it. And I'll show you what happens when you try to install without using sudo. I get a message there that says it can't open the lock file, permission denied. Are you root? This is right there, are you root? So that's a good indication that, oh, I need to run this as sudo. So I'm just going to up arrow and sudo, and then it's going to go out and find it. It's going to build a dependency, reading the state information. Now it notices that it doesn't have libg Fortran 3 installed, so it's going to install that automatically. And so now it says I'm going to install these two packages, even though you asked for one, which is a really nice feature. And so now it tells me how much disk space will be used, not too much, and do I want to continue? I'm going to say no, because I want to show you that you can do a -y and force a yes answer to that, do you want to continue? So it just goes ahead and does it. All right, so now I've just installed two packages. One was depending on the other. Zivit was depending on the libg Fortran 3. And then I'm going to test just see if it's there. And I'm going to grep and ignore the case for Zivit. So now I do see that it's installed, which is nice. And then let's say there's a new version of Zivit out there, and I actually want to upgrade it. You just use the install, but you install it over again. So to do that, I would use sudo apt-get update, which updates my cache from the latest Ubuntu repositories. So now my cache is updated. And now I would just run the install of Zivit again, and it would tell me if there was anything, if there was an upgrade to this package. So it looks through it, and it says Zivit is already the newest version, so 0 have been upgraded, 0 newly installed, 0 to remove, and 491 not upgraded. So that's how you can upgrade a single package. If you want to upgrade all of the packages that are on your system, there's a two-step process. You would do this apt-get update and then an apt-get upgrade, which takes all of your packages to their latest version. So sudo apt-get update updates the cache. We see it go through this again. I just did it, but so there's really nothing changed. And then sudo apt-get upgrade will upgrade all of the packages. And I want to go through this. I'm not going to actually upgrade. I'm going to stop it. So you see that it found all of these packages that need to be upgraded. 477 upgraded, 0 newly installed, 0 to remove, and 14 not upgraded, which should equal, yes it does, 491, which earlier it said it needed to be upgraded. It needs 46 megs to do this. After the operation, 21 megs will be used. So I am not going to continue because I don't want to do that on this session. Now, if I did want to take my 1204 to 1304, then I would perform again this apt-get update as soon as that was run, and then I would run the apt-get dist-upgrade, which would take me to the latest Ubuntu version. Today it's currently 1304. So that's pretty much all I have about installing and removing applications and upgrading applications and upgrading the system.